everybody, it's Drybear. We've entered into October, it's spooky season, and today I wanted to go through all of the games coming this month that you should be excited about. And if there's any games that I missed that you think are important, drop them down in the comments below. Starting with a remaster of Supermassive's Until Dawn, which is one of the first few games that they made that kicked off their whole series of all the the Dark Pictures games that they've been doing and everything in it. And this has a lot of really interesting characters in it, and is one of their best games. But personally for me, I didn't feel like Until Dawn actually needed a full remaster slash remake. And you'll also notice that this Until Dawn remake is a full priced game. It's $60. So if you never experienced the original Until Dawn, I would say definitely get this. It is a lot of fun. You'll get a lot of really cool like scenes and experiences from it. The graphics are much improved. The lighting looks great. And it does look like they have new unique scenes and dialogue that didn't exist in the original. But if you played the original, this might be one that you skip or wait for sale, because for a full price of $60, it's definitely not all the way up there in what you're looking for. Next up on October 8th is the first full expansion for Diablo 4, the latest installment in the Diablo franchise from Activision Blizzard. The core game had some, pluses and minuses, pros and cons. Some people really enjoyed it. People still play it today. And a lot of people that liked the original Diablo 4 launch have watched the game grow and get better and better over time. So this is going to be the best version Diablo 4 has ever been. And I think one of the best parts of the original Diablo 4 released last year was actually just the core story, the actual campaign, the experience of going through and seeing Lilith and everything about it. So watching this through the story is going to be worth it for Vessel of Hatred, and you'll have to decide whether it's worth it for you to see the new expansion, all the new mechanics, the new class, the Spiritborn, a new zone, a lot of new activities to do, new end game, new items, new weapons, new everything, trying to explore the game that is the Diablo 4 today. On the same day is the Silent Hill 2 remake, and I have some mixed feelings about this one, but I'm so excited, and I hope they knock this one out of the park. This is a remake of the original Silent Hill 2, which is one of my favorite horror games of all time. And what made that game so special for me was the atmosphere, the sound design, the atmosphere, not being able to see or know what's going on. And they also have a lot of really cool new features that go into this. So I hope this one is a complete gangbuster. Silent Hill 2 is one of the best, most forward-thinking horror games of its time, and the game looks absolutely phenomenal. So on October 8th, the same day as Vessel of Hatred, you'll be able to pick up Silent Hill 2 Remake. The following day, we'll see the first tier expansion for Lost Ark that the West has ever seen. They had a Tier 1 and Tier 2 into Tier 3, but ever since 2022, for the last 2.5 years, Lost Ark has been in a single tier, and this is the first new tier expansion. So you would think of this as an expansion for Lost Ark. If you like Lost Ark, Korean MMOs, or ARPGs in that perspective, this is a big opportunity for a brand new tier, gear being reset. There's a lot of opportunities, events going on for progression, so you can catch up. And they're also adding in a bunch of new content for the classes as well, new ultimate animations, new awakenings, and all kinds of new things that you can play around with to make your character more customizable, new systems to play around with to make your character stronger. The game is free to play and is available on PC as well, so you can pick this up and play, and then Tier 4 will be launching on October 9th. Up next is the first Descendant Season 1 Patch 2. This is coming on October 10th, and a lot of people have been looking forward to this one. This is going to include Ultimate Freyna. It's going to include a new Void Intercept boss with Deathstalker, a bunch of new content to play around with, Halloween skins, Halloween updates for the main hub city, Albion, as well as Halloween content all around, skins, hair dyes, those kind of things. So this is going to be a nice big update for a lot of people that have been playing the first Descendant. Also, new endgame activities to push their endgame content further. Things like hard mode dungeons with higher clear, and new character-based story to do a kind of campaign element with Freyna, as well as Ultimate Freyna, new boss, and also just generally new content to keep the game fresh. On October 11 is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and this one looks absolutely phenomenal. If you like the Budokai series, or you like playing any of these story-based Diablo or Dragon Ball games, I think it's super worth it to pick this one up. This one looks really cool, super fun. It's coming on October 11th, and hopefully we get a lot of really cool story expansions. They've been talking about adding in characters from the movies, from old school Dragon Ball, from Dragon Ball Z, potentially even some of the non-canon characters, as well as the super characters, and all the evolutions and transformations they've had in this game. This game looks absolutely phenomenal. Also on the 11th is the next new title from Atlas. Like, there is just such a big cult following for Atlas and all of the games that they make, and this is Metaphor ReFantazio. So if you like these kind of JRPG story-driven games, these are always so immersive. They have tons of extra storytelling, voiceover acting, special cutscenes. They have these kind of animated, special hand animated scenes to make the story come to life, and overall the gameplay looks really cool as well. I know a lot of people are very excited about Metaphor and hope that it's the next big game from Atlas that sticks with us for a very long time, and honestly, there's nothing about this game that suggests otherwise. It looks like it's going to be a huge game to just dive into and enjoy for weeks at a time. On October 15th is the latest expansion for New World, Amazon Games' first full MMO title that they released. And what's great about this one is that they are finally bringing New World to console, so you're able to play this on console if you haven't yet. And on top of that, they're also adding in a solo play option, which means that if you're doing the main trials, the stories, the dungeons, you can play through the whole main story of New World and MMO by yourself if you wanted to. I think what's great about New World is, especially if you haven't played it before, it is a great time to just push through all the way to max level, experience the dungeons, level up your crafting, do all the community-based stuff, and explore the world that they have available, and then start working towards the end game to see if you like it by then. But I would say that even if you're not someone who actively plays MMOs, you'll probably get a good 40 to 100 hours out of this game before you start deciding whether you want to stick with it long term, because I think the initial on-ramp experience for the game is quite good. On October 17th is the spin-off inclusion of the A Quiet Place IP. And this was the IP that had been started by Jim from The Office as an original horror kind of concept where they're living in a post-apocalyptic world where there are monsters that rely on sound. They are devastatingly stronger than human beings, and they can only hear, they can't see or smell, so they'll use sounds. You have to be quiet to avoid them. And this is basically a horror adventure game. It looks a little bit like like an on-rails experience, but it does look like there are more mechanics in it than just a walking simulators, so you'll be able to experience the world of A Quiet Place. It's a relatively small price, it's like $30 up front USD, and would be available for most of the platforms, so you can play on that if you're looking for it. So you can actually play through this whole horror experience. The lighting looks great, the quality of the graphics looks great, the models look great, the animations are pretty good too, and overall, if you're looking for a good horror game to play this October, or you just like the IP A Quiet Place, this will be available. On October 22nd is the re-release of the IP The Last Year. So if you're a fan of asymmetrical games like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Dead by Daylight, VHS, all of those, then you want to check out the re-release of The Last Year. So this one is called Forest Hills The Last Year. They have released The Last Year 2 times before, the last one being starting on Discord, and the core game is an asymmetrical PvP game just like Dead by Daylight in that kind of genre, and the core mechanics are pretty fun and interesting, but they were plagued by performance issues, release issues, and also the exclusivity of being on Discord only when the last year was released. So overall, it plays more like DBD if DBD had more like Left 4 Dead style mechanics where there are multiple different killers, different mechanics, areas of the map. It plays a lot more like Texas Chainsaw in that way. A lot of cool options there, but if you wanted to check out a new asymmetrical horror PvP game, the Silent Hills Last Year is on its way. On the same day, October 22nd, is the latest release from Torn Banner. So if you played Chivalry, this game looks absolutely phenomenal. This is the sequel of No More Room in Hell 1. This is No More Room in Hell 2. This is an 8-player co-op horror survival action game that plays very differently. It's one giant city map, so it's almost like if you could play multiplayer in a Resident Evil game, zombies everywhere, monsters everywhere, you're looting. It's almost like what A Day Before was trying to be if it actually was a full game. And this one looks absolutely awesome. They also have some really hardcore options like permadeath, so if you're playing in a 8-player co-op room, people can die forever. It's very permanent. We'll see how that plays in like online play with just randoms versus your friends, but it has a lot of really cool action mechanics. The graphics look great and looks like a lot of fun, and we've been desperately wanting to get a game like this to actually get off the ground. But unfortunately, most games like this just don't. They fail in some way, they don't have the content, or they don't release properly, and that sort of thing. But I trust Torn Banner in this. I think that No More Room in Hell 2 is going to be an absolute banger of a co-op game. October 25th is Call of Duty Black Ops 6, a nice new installment for Call of Duty. And I think if you've been a fan of Call of Duty for a long time, you've been aware of the fact that there were several studios, Raven, Treyarch, Sledgehammer, working on Call of Duties simultaneously, like separate titles that they would use to cycle so that they had a Call of Duty every single year. And what they decided to do with Black Ops 6 is they brought all the studios together to collaborate on one Call of Duty. And this is probably their biggest, heaviest Call of Duty ever. They have the right people working on the campaign, they have the right people working on multiplayer, and they also bring in a lot of the extra modes like zombies that bring in the core of what people like about Call of Duty Black Ops for long term, right? Once you're bored of the multiplayer, once you're bored of team deathmatch, and once you finish the campaign, you have these other modes to play with. And they've put a lot of effort into making Call of Duty Black Ops 6 the best Call of Duty that's been made yet, and it's looking like they're going to deliver on this. So October 25th is a date to look out for the new Black Ops. Another one that a lot of people have been looking forward to is Gran Saga. This is an MMO by NPixel that has been locked away in a single region, but is finally getting a global release date, and that's October 30th, the day before Halloween. It will be available for globally across most regions in the game. You can play Gran Saga. So if you're looking forward to this, you've been wanting to play Gran Saga, it's a nice MMO experience if this is your kind of dig. So definitely look forward to this at the end of October. On Halloween Day is the release of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and we've been desperately wanting a new Dragon Age game that rocks for a long time. I think a lot of people played Dragon Age 2 or Dragon Age Origins and fell in love with the series. Now, they've been kind of up and down on the games that they release and the games that they put effort into, at least over the last 10 to 15 years. Some people liked Inquisition, some people didn't, and all the other games they've been working on in the meantime as well. But we're finally getting a new Dragon Age game, The Veilguard, and this one has had mixed response from a lot of people. It's a change in the core art style that we're used to for Dragon Age, a little bit more painterly, a little bit more smoothed out, a little bit more cartoonish and 3D, molded from that perspective. And a lot of people have been talking about the gameplay in general. But I think if you're a fan of Dragon Age or these kind of like open style RPGs, it's something to look forward to anyways. You might have to kind of judge for yourself whether it's something that you want to get right on release, but it's something to pay attention to, and hopefully the reviews are actually good once we get our hands on it. And generally, whether you like the game or not, these sort of games you can easily get lost in. They have promised that it's going to have the steamy romances that these games normally have, lots of great combat, the character swapping from Inquisition, the class building from Origins. So we have a lot of options here for this. So, you know, if you're on the fence about it, maybe wait to see what the reviews are. But I think if you're a Dragon Age fan or you're like an action RPG fan for these kind of perspective, you know, I think it's something to keep your eye on because it could end up being awesome. Lastly is the first major DLC. I know we had the kind of like goofy side content that we had for Alan Wake 2 earlier this year, but this is actually going to be like a full main storyline expansion for Alan Wake 2. And in this one, they are connecting their two IPs together, Control as well as Alan Wake, which are in the same universe. So we see a little bit more of Control getting involved with this. And this one doesn't have a specific date. They just said October. Hopefully we get a date soon because, I mean, we're kind of weeks out from October ending in general. So I don't know why they didn't give us a date, but it looks cool. It's more of a Control themed a clash of two universes. Control, one of the best games you can play, an amazing game with a lot of cool, interesting story developments, perspectives, mechanics, everything. If you ever played like the ashtray maze in Control, that's one of the most memorable moments you can have in gaming. And I hope that they bring the weirdness of Control to full force in this Alan Wake 2 DLC Lake House. That's all the major games coming in October in the next few weeks. Let me know which one you're looking forward to most down below. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.